Chardonnay. Chardonnay is a non-aromatic grape variety. What this means to you is that most of what you pick up on the nose is more likely to come from the choices of the winemaker during the winemaking process, rather than particular qualities of the grape itself. These choices may surround the blending grape, the type of yeast used, the type of oak used, the age of the barrels, or more. Chardonnay is also a grape that is lower in acid, but it makes up for the low acid and aromatics in high extract and alcohol. It produces still wines in all body styles and is a popular ingredient in sparkling wines. A rather unique quality about Chardonnay is that it can perform well in any climate. What you'll notice when comparing wines across the climate zones is that the fruit that you taste will be different. While the aromas from the grape may not be intense, the flavors will be. A good way to predict what you're going to pick up in the wines is to think about what fruits are grown in each of these regions. Green fruits thrive in cooler climates. Stone fruits come from warmer, more moderate climates, and tropical fruits immediately bring visions of island music, beaches, and a hot climate. Now that we know the effects of climate on the flavor of Chardonnay, where do the butter or cream flavors that are common in these wines come from? Well, they come from a process called malolactic fermentation, which is an additional fermentation process carried out by bacteria that some wines go through that converts tart acid, or malic acid, into a softer lactic acid, which results in a more palatable finished product. This secondary fermentation produces a chemical called diacetyl, which is also present in butter, which in turn presents itself in the wine. Another way creamy aromas and flavors are imputed into wine involves the yeast in winemaking, and both the choice of the yeast and what may be done with them. Lees are the cells that remain after alcohol kills the yeast during fermentation. If these are stirred within the wines rather than merely leaving them to settle on the bottom, a creamier flavor and texture will develop. Where Pinot Noir has the exclusive on red wines from Burgundy, Chardonnay holds the exclusive on the whites. The names to look for in the region are Chablis, Mâcon, Pouilly-Fuissé, and for a worthwhile splurge, Meursault. Chablis will show more of a mineral character, where citrus and green apple tend to dominate in the wines of Mâcon. Pouilly-Fuissé will be the fullest, with higher alcohol levels, and will have more of a stone fruit character. You'll also see oak influence in these wines. The wines of Puligny-Montrachet are held in greater esteem, but the wines of nearby Meursault are also quite good. While still on the high side, they're a value in the $40 range. In my opinion, they take all of the best characteristics of the white Burgundies above, and then add some almond or hazelnut to the party. Moving north, Chardonnay also holds a monopoly as the only white grape that can go into the production of champagne. Its high acid and citrus fruit character makes some of the world's best. Other good examples of still wine Chardonnay can be found in California, specifically Carneros and the Russian River Valley. They can also be found in Australia in Adelaide Hills and Hunter Valley. Finally, you can find some really good examples in Chile and also in New Zealand. For many years, I would have pleaded with you, don't buy your wine from a box. But there is a company called Black Box Wine, which is now defying the boxed wine reputation with a pretty tasty Chardonnay. All right, before shopping for this exercise, think about your affinity toward oak. If you haven't had these wines before, just consider what sucking on a block of wood would taste like a little bit. Get that taste out of your mouth and then drink a wine afterward. Now that doesn't sound appealing, but it really is. It does add, it is a very simplistic view. The use of oak, besides having a little bit of that flavor in it, will add things like the butter, the cream, vanilla flavors, things like that. So it's not as bad as I make it sound, and I probably shouldn't have went with it that way. But if you find that is something that you would like, go with your traditional oaked Chardonnays. If it doesn't sound like anything that appeals to you in the least, they do make unoaked Chardonnays. And we've already pointed out the ones from France that are like that. Try and choose them in the same category so that the wines have a fair chance for comparison. All right. Choose one from each of the 3 climate zones to compare to each other, and take note for yourself of the differences in both flavor and in color. And definitely, if you can afford to splurge a little bit, or splitting the investment for these tastings, choose a Meursault as your cool climate example. You will not be disappointed in these wines. All right, words or phrases on the label to look for when trying to make sure you're getting a Chardonnay. Chardonnay, Pouilly-Fuissé, Meursault, Chablis, Mâcon, Puligny-Montrachet. In the bottle, again, because this grape grows well in any region or any climate, you're going to see that the flavors just run the gamut. From green fruit, stone fruit, citrus fruit, tropical fruit, mineral, butter, cream, nut. And again, if they get any type of oak treatment at all, you'll see some vanilla, maybe some sweet spice, just a touch of cinnamon. And pairing, Chardonnay. Chicken, shellfish, very good with risotto, and also with creamy sauces, especially those oaked versions.